Everything you need to know about finding, negotiating, and getting a deal done to rent an apartment in Dubai. Let me just kick off with this was a high anxiety journey for me and I guess Sarah via proxy over the last couple of months because we'd originally planned to come out here and land. We got 3 nights in a hotel, and the original plan was to come out here, open Bayou, meet a bunch of brokers, find an apartment, secure an apartment, get the contracts done, get the keys, and fully furnish it within 5 days. And when we kind of like mapped that out a little bit, we thought we might be being too ambitious here. So we decided to make a big leap and say, let's just sort it fully remotely. One thing that Sarah wanted to make sure that I add in is we would never have done this if we didn't already know the buildings that we were wanting to move into. So we're in a building called Waves Grande. We were looking at 2 properties because last time we were out here, we were really fond of 2 buildings. So one was One Park Avenue and the second one was Waves Grande. The actual only reason we ended up even looking at this place is because we couldn't find one place that was, I guess, within budget or available within One Park Avenue. So we just saw this crossroad and said, let's go and check that place out. It looks interesting. So we knew the buildings, we knew the amenities, so we had a bit of confidence in where we wanted to stay, but actually doing it remotely, well, it's a lot of money. Let's just start there. Like, it's a lot of money, and it's I'd say not the normal way of doing business that I'm used to, but I guess moving to a new area, new territory, new culture, I've got to get used to this way of doing business. So I wanted to create this video to share with you kind of a step-by-step of how we ended up going from finding a property remotely to getting the keys, in case you're going through a similar journey too. Firstly, just a bit of scene setting. I had a couple of deals and brokers let me down, deals fall through, or get squeezed at the last minute. So I think whenever you're dealing with a broker, go with your gut feeling as with anything. Like their level of professionalism in terms of like how they reply, like if they're sending voice messages, if they're replying with detailed answers and constructive support, just ask a few questions and prod and poke and just get comfortable with a broker that's responsive. Obviously with being fair and reasonable in terms of times, but being responsive and being professional. Go with your gut feel on that. I actually got really close to doing a deal on a property, and I actually thought the deal was done. So I told Sarah, we've got a place, here's the place, because we kind of went through and shortlisted a bunch of places, sourced a place, found a place, did the deal, and I thought the deal was locked up. Turns out it wasn't. Broker was really responsive, like every 10, 15 minutes replying to any questions, and then went radio silent on me for like 2 days. And they knew that I was on a bit of time pressure. So I don't want to be too cynical, but it felt like a tactic because 2 days later, I get a message saying the landlord wants an extra 10,000 AED for the year. And to be honest with you, we got it at a reasonable price, so I was happy with it. But it just felt like a dirty tactic, and out of principles, I just dug my heels in. I was like, categorically not, because if they're going to treat you like that, and whether it's the broker or the landlord, if they're going to treat you like that now, I don't want to be really in bed doing business with that person over the next 12, 24 months in case we decide we need to renew or there's a problem with the apartment. It's a good signal to how people will operate for the rest of the relationship. So that deal fell through, and I was like, back to square one. What are we going to do? And we're on a pretty tight timeline right now. So we went back to Bayou, started hitting up a bunch of brokers, and again, gut feel, who's great, who's not, who's responsive, who's trying to do like calls and like on a lounger, trying to talk to you and speak about a property, and end up bumping into a guy called Wiam at a company called Luxbridge. And this is in no way affiliated or associated to Luxbridge, but I have nothing but great words to say about that company and Wiam specifically. Level of professionalism was awesome. And I guess just to give you a sense of timings. So on the 11th of May, there was a lot that happened on the 11th of May, by the way. On the 11th of May, we found the apartment, and I reached out using Bayou and got into a WhatsApp conversation with Wiam. We then said, hey, we want to have a walk around the apartment on a live call. So he came to the property, jumped on a Zoom call with us, and gave us a full walk around of the property, and was really, I guess, accommodating to some of the questions that we had. Sarah's got this thing about the balcony. She wanted to make sure like we were literally like on the Zoom call. Can we just like get how many tiles are on that? How big are the tiles we could work out? Is there enough space? Because on our balcony, there's a pillar. It was really accommodating, really professional. And we had a couple of questions specifically around like the rent. Because one thing for me was we kind of know the rent cost, and we're going to enter the negotiation stage there. But actually, this area specifically seems to be going through a bit of growth at the moment with all the construction going on, the proximity to downtown and all that stuff. So there's an argument to say that rent could just jump up significantly in year 2. So we wanted to just understand how that works. And there's some laws from the Dubai Land Department in terms of how much people can increase rent by. I'm not going to try and quote it all now, but it gave me some confidence. I'll put a link in the description so you can go and read that, which is really important. And then he identified actually in the property, because we had some floods here recently, some really, really heavy rain, and some of that water had actually got into one of the rooms and created a little bit of a damp patch on the wall. So again, in the video, you can probably see some cables. They're actually just going through every window right now on the facade and actually just doing the sealant at the moment, just, I guess, reinforcing it all. But he highlighted it and said, hey, if you do take the property, all this water damage will be fixed. So that's on the 11th of May. About 5 hours later, we're like, okay, we want to go ahead. So next thing he asked for was my Emirates ID and my passport. So sent him a scan and copy of those. And then we go into sort of the pricing and negotiation stage. This property that we're in at the moment was up for 175,000 AED. And in terms of how checks work, because when you're looking at properties, you will bump into 1 check, 4 checks, or checks negotiable. If it's 1 check, that would be 175,000 AED as 1 payment up front for the whole year. So you're paying for a full year's worth of rent in 1 payment. So a pretty chunky amount of cash. So firstly, it was how do we get the price down and enter the negotiation stage naturally. We got the price down from 175 to 165, and that was agreeable. And in some situations in my conversations in the past, you can actually get a sharper rate if you're doing 1 check compared to 4 checks, as an example. Our landlord really didn't mind in terms of the number of checks, so we opted for 4 checks, which is quarterly payments. So it was 165,000 AED, and then you're exposed to 2 other fees. One is a 5% broker's fee, and one is a 5% security deposit. So total all-in cost was 181,500 AED for the year. So once we got the offer accepted, we then received the title deed of the property and a copy of the passport. And just as a note, this is all being done via WhatsApp right now. Did the Zoom call, then everything's being handled via WhatsApp, not via email, which is probably the more traditional way of like doing stuff back at home. But by the way, I absolutely love the way of doing business out here. It's fast, it's efficient, as long as you've got a good partner on the other side that's acting honorably, fair and reasonably and all that good stuff. So receive the title deed and the passport, and what they're doing at that point in time is showing you that this property is owned and it's owned by this person, and then the person you are doing business with, this is the passport of that person to make sure those 2 things tally up. So at this point in time, I then transferred, this is the first bit of like anxiety, I then was asked to transfer the security deposit across. So I transferred 5% across, and that was to secure the property. Now don't forget, I'm doing this completely remotely. If I was in the country, it would be meet up, write the checks and get it all done in person. But we were having to take a slightly different approach here. So I wanted to make sure I didn't lose the property. And I was asking Wiam, what do I need to do right now to make sure that this property is locked up and it's ours? He said the quickest way and the easiest way to do that is just to send the security deposit across. This is all still on the 11th of May, by the way. This is like we found the property, got the Zoom call, negotiated the price, received the title deed and passport, and then sent the security deposit across. So once that security deposit was sent, locked up, property was ours. That was then a point of celebration for me and Sarah and the boys. So don't forget, that was all on the 11th of May, all done in a day. Sourced it, secured it. 12th of May, we then have to navigate checks. So checkbook. And again, if you're new to Dubai and sort of you're seeing the word checks knocking about, that is truly just a physical check. This area, this territory is so forward thinking in so many ways, and it confused me as to why do I need a checkbook? But it's just a way of doing business out here for a number of things. And in order to get a checkbook, you need to have your Emirates ID, have your bank account set up. I've got a separate video of like how to do that, but you need that before you start looking at properties. So physical checkbook, problem, I'm not in the country. So writing a check and handing it over was not an option. But we wanted to make sure that we had everything in place for when we land. The objective was we land in Dubai, we head over, get the keys, and then have 72 hours to furnish it because we got 3 nights in a hotel. That was the plan. And to be honest with you, like we nailed the plan. Just to, I guess, share the ending, we nailed the plan. We got the keys as soon as we landed. So how do we navigate the checks? Luckily for me, got a friend over here who was very trusting, and was happy to go and meet Wiam and write 4 checks. So the process that we went through was I sent my friend the cash for the first quarter, and he then wrote 4 checks. That first check is getting cashed by the landlord. The other 3 are kept on file ready for when I landed. I then headed over to Luxbridge, met Wiam, and he handed back those checks. I then wrote 3 new post-dated checks. So the final 3 payments would come out of my account. At that point in time, he also made me sign the paperwork with the scans of the checks to confirm that I've then taken back receipt of my friend's checks, and then I can just void them off. So that's how we managed to navigate actually having physical checks, because you need the physical checks in order to get the contract signed with the landlord, which will then allow us to move quickly when we got over here. So by the 15th of May, we've signed the tenancy contract. And then on the 20th of May, Wiam sent me a video to share with me that the water damage had all been fully resolved in the property. The last thing on that day was a KYC document, which is a know your customer, which was, I guess, a very simple document, came over on WhatsApp, just me filling in some basic information and sending it back. I think it's a responsibility of the brokers over here to know exactly who the customer is, where the money came from, and all that good stuff. So then we're in Dubai. We have an apartment sorted. We don't have the keys yet. On the 23rd of May, we landed like early doors in the morning. So we went to the hotel, checked in, got like 4 hours sleep, got up, jumped in a cab and headed straight over to Luxbridge, which is where we met Wiam for the first time in person. And we did the whole write the checks, hand them over. By the way, I don't think I've ever written a check in my life. And I was like, firstly, I write like a child. So like my handwriting was like a 7-year-old. Then I put the wrong information on it, but hey ho, we got there in the end. So wrote the checks, handed it over, filled in a bit of paperwork, got some scans of like passports and checks and bits like that. So then we got the keys. We had our first apartment. We had a home. Use the word home with air quotes because it's not a home until the boys are here, really. But we had our own place to live in Dubai. So as a quick recap, from the 11th of May was find a place. We had the deal done by the end of that night. On the 15th of May, the tenancy contract was signed. By the 23rd of May, we'd landed in Dubai to pick up the keys. I've done another video which talks in a little bit more detail as to the next steps after this, which is around like the Ajari, the Diwa, chiller free or not chiller free, how much like due internet is, and I'll link that below. And I'm not sure when this comes out, but I think one of the things that honestly just caught me off guard a little bit was we have to fully furnish this property. So we had 72 hours to fully furnish it. And in my head, I knew that we needed stuff like tables and couches and beds and bits like that. So I kind of like allocated rough budgets for that stuff. But it's amazing the amount of small bits that I didn't factor in. So we're going to do a full property walkthrough to share with you exactly how much it costs us to fully furnish a 3-bed apartment in Dubai and some of the, I guess, shops that we use, the service that we got, and any top tips and recommendations in case you're on a similar journey too. On that note, I'll leave it there. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. Stay well. Speak to you soon.